Pregame.tv football contest here in Vegas. We're going to be talking, of course, about the Las Vegas Super Contest, how we're all doing in the contest so far. And also there's a local contest here, the Gold Nugget Contest, where Brian Leonard, who is going to be on in videos later on, he is going to be up on Halloween, I believe, in that contest, and I've already advanced into the final 8, so I'm doing better in that contest. Did go 5-2 in round 1. In the Super Contest, my Fezzik entry not doing so well. I do have a second entry that is 14-11, but that's still trailing both of you gentlemen. Vegas Runner, I believe you are 16-9.
Yeah,
correct?
sitting 64% right now, and I've had a couple. Everybody's going to complain they've had beats, you know, and I think that's what you need to be able to get over, because over a long season it's going to happen.
I had Cincinnati plus 11 in the Belk Bowl last year. They were tied going in, and I was catching 11, 1 minute to play, and I lost. So don't talk to me about
exactly. No, exactly. That's what I mean, and that's what's going to happen.
Go ahead.
What I've realized early on is that you can't get too high or get too low. For me, since I was pregame, since I've gotten into selling sports betting information instead of just betting, I've gotten into the contest one time, and that was 4 or 5 years ago, and I hated it because I'd put in the picks, and then come Sunday, so much information come in, and I want to take the other side, and I'm like, now I'm going to root against myself, and I didn't know what to do.
And you could even wind up with the old Polish middle, where you laid 3.5
and lose both.
And you took plus. I love that. And then you laid 3.5 in the contest, and then you take plus 2.5 when they're steaming it down to pick.
And you lose both. And I said, and I was like, I'm not even going to deal with this. And then this year I said, I'm going to get into it. And I know it's kind of like poker. There's cash players and there's tournament players. And there's
very different animals.
There's very few that are good at both.
Sure.
And I said, I'm going to approach it as a contest and not as a bettor. And I think that's why I'm having more success.
And I was traditionally a great contest player. And I have to say, now that I'm doing more and more handicapping in just the last few years, I actually think my contest.
Of course.
And your live wagering. You're all over the live wagering.
It's suffering. Example, the deadline on this thing is 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. Do you guys put in your picks Friday night or Saturday morning?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning?
I go Friday night.
And I go Friday night. And I really would much rather, with the extra information, do it Saturday morning. But I don't want to have a proxy. I don't want the hassle. And I don't want
your car to break down on the way there and miss your card.
And also, how much? It's a $1,500 entry fee. I know that. I mean, to slightly increase my win rate, to put it in at 10:30 and then and shoot 3 hours on a Saturday morning, and the wife's like, well, wait, what are you doing? You're not spending any time with your son the entire day because you got to go and put in a contest pick, on Saturday morning when you could have put it in at 2 in the morning, the night before, or 1:30. It's just not. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm in the top 10 again and there's a month to go, well, then little Johnny's gonna have to stay with Mama.
His education depends on it.
But
I agree with what VR said, playing this contest, and I realized it, in our championship year, that you just have to take it pick by pick, week by week, and you can't get ahead of yourself, and you can't, start thinking too much about if this line's going to move and I'm going to bet that side and where's the steam coming from. You just really have to be patient. And like you say, treat it like a contest. And people have asked me this on Twitter and whatnot, what's your strategy, blah, blah, blah. And I just said, you just got to take it one game at a time, and it's week in and week out. And
here's what you got to realize.
Can't get too ahead of yourself. You can't start thinking 6 weeks from now, I might be here.
Or thinking I got to go 3-2 every week. It's not like that. You'll go 5-0. You'll go 2-3.
All three of us are serious bettors. We bet, and the contest is different because they're putting out this many lines, no over-unders, no first halves, no anything like that. The line is stale. It's put out.
Can't shop.
No, it's put out Wednesday. That's what it is for the whole week. So I mean, you're limited in what you can do, and some people are talented in one thing and another, and you can't really do all that. So for me, I was just, because I was getting the question, first week I went 4-1, second week I went 4-1, and I had some people asking, why didn't you just give that as your card as premium card, you know. And I said, I didn't even bet 3 of those games, let alone.
And you look at some of the lines, like I like the Bengals last week. I bet the Bengals +2. The contest line the Bengals were laying to.
Exactly.
I actually took the Patriots on my contest line.
Thank you.
A lot of people did. It was one of the most
game.
popular picks, and that's one thing I've noticed in the contest this year. A lot of people are taking notice of how those lines differ on Wednesday than how they are on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're taking those. The Patriots were in the top 5 consensus plays, I believe, last week.
And it didn't mean people like the Patriots. They just like the fact they're getting such a great line. And let's face it. I mean,
it's the same thing that happened with the Minnesota and Cleveland deal we were talking about. By the time that kicked off, it was 8, but on the card, it's 5.5. People, you know, it's almost a must take.
Yeah, you don't like the Vikings, but you're like, yeah, you know, how bad a play can it be? The sharpest bettors in the world are laying 6.5, and I can lay 5.5.
Exactly.
You know? And that's certainly now. One thing about the strategy though is that when you're ahead, I call it playing defense. It's like the U.S. Open. If you have the lead, you just got to shoot pars, all right? So when you go into the final 2 weeks, you really should just take all those big line movers and let people try to come get you. You know, that's the no-brainer plays. But what I've noticed is no one ever does that who has the lead, except for me. I did it when I had the lead. Because they're like, well, I did my thing and I hit 73%, and I don't need to hook an extra point on a game.
Right.
When I'm hitting 73%, I'm red hot with my own handicap. I'm taking the 5 games I like. The one thing I do think is a good strategy, oftentimes you have like 7 games that you're like choosing from, you know, which 7. I would say take the 7 games you like. Don't even look at the spreads at the Hilton. Then go in, and from that 7, take out the 2 where you're getting robbed blind on the line.
Sure.
And then just go bet.
Makes a lot of sense.
Just get, like let's say you really like the Bengals. You know, don't put the Bengals -2 on your card. Just go ahead and go bet the Bengals +2. You got your implied bet there, and take the 5 that you're getting a fair line or better. I really think that's a good strategy on these things. Now, are you guys in other contests as well?
That's it.
No, that's it for me. I play in one little gaming today thing that VR was in last season and haven't.
Wait, battle of the bookies.
The brawl for it all.
Brawl for it all.
For it all. Who's in first place?
Brady is.
Who's in last place?
I think he's second to last is Andy Isco.
Okay, Andy will come back.
Yes, he will.
I will.
They're all good players in this contest.
I will bet anyone dinner Andy will get back above 500 by the end of the year.
Yeah, I was in it last year, and he asked me to be in it. Mark did again this year, and I just was doing the super contest and then just too many things.
You're everywhere. You're like that guy with all the plates. I mean, the one thing about the super contest with all these lines, and certainly it worked out well for me when I'm taking the good lines in 2008, 2009. But when you have the bet down here, people are like, oh, Fezzik only went 44 and 38 last year. He's awful. He was absolutely awful. You got to rethink his strategies. It's almost like that movie Ruthless People, one of my favorite movies. Remember the hostage pickup scene? When he's dressed up like Bozo. That's how I feel sometimes because I'm just taking like the Patriots +2. And I feel like the actor, you know, and he's showing up, and he shows up to pick up the money, and Danny DeVito pulls out the gun, you know, and says, all right, I got you now. And then finally the police talk him out of that, and the bozos, okay, so, you know, finally got a game right. And then the other guy shows up in a gremlin with a gun, and he tries to jack him as well. And Bozo's got the walkie-talkie. There's hundreds of police.
That's his new nickname is Bozo.
What the hell is this? You know, what is this? And then the police are like, put the gun down, you're surrounded. And then you hear a gunshot go off, and remember this, and the guy goes, you're shooting at me, aren't you? But how can you be shooting at me? You don't have a gun. And Bozo's like, you're smarter than I am. And then they're like, he says, are you the police?
And this is what you got to deal with the contest.
Like, no, we're the NRA. It's +2. Drop the bag and give it to Bozo.
We're doing all movies next week.
So I feel like Bozo the clown, because people are like, nice job with the Patriots game. You got the Bengals. That was a good call. And I'm like, yeah, 0-1 on that game. And they're like, you suck, dude. Why don't you just take the team you like? And I'm like,
you're awful. You're awful.
And I say, you know, cell phone thrown into the wall. Yeah. So angry, very angry. I digress. What is you guys projected finish? If I could say right now, you could finish 12th in this contest. Would you take it? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Good attitude. I'd say yes.
Really? You know why? Because you have won. You've already won.
You have a title.
You've already won. But
you're right.
I want a title. I don't even keep the money. The money I could give the charity. I want the title.
I will tell you a secret, though.
That's a good point.
Money's just a way to keep score. I want the title.
I am a 5-time world champion. Okay?
Like Ric Flair.
I won the South Point twice. I won the Hilton twice. I won the Money Talks, the Leroy's Money Talks contest. as well. So I will tell you, this was a house of horrors. All of these contests. I always tell people, oh, they got such plus EV, expected value, and they're like, sure, you're overestimating your edge. As soon as I won one, all of a sudden, it was easy to win the second one. But the first one
is the hardest.
I go back to Gaming Today,
hardest.
Stardust Invitational, 2-time finalist, winner take all, bagel, donut, 0.
It's the hardest to get that one.
When I lost to David Stratton, and I went like 1-5-1 in the finals, I still hear about it to this day. I still hear, and I still eats in my craw how I donked away that title back in 2000.
Maybe if I...
Well, you give me hope, because you say once you've done it once, the second time it becomes a little second nature. And I saw that this last week. We had a good week, and my card looked like our old Sanssouci cards, and I was like, yeah, maybe you're right, man.
I'll tell you, if I was in it last year, the year before, the year before that, and if I've been in it like 8-9 years in a row, and you asked me that question, I may say yes.
Right.
Just the place and the money.
Sure.
But since I haven't, this is the second time I ever got in it, I say no.
It's the right answer.
Well, the reason I ask you this is you will have this decision when you are in 10th place with 1 week to go or 2 weeks to go. You can play it safe and play like games you might like where you're laying 4 in the line 6.
Right.
And you're playing for a top 10 finish, but there's no way you can win.
Right.
Or you can go for it and be a contrarian.
I hope I'm in that spot.
Oh, yeah. It's a good problem to have.
We'll talk about that. We'll come back. We'll revisit December, where we stand here at pregame.tv here on the contest and what strategies we may take, going forward with it. So we'll stay with us throughout the fall. We'll keep you updated and we'll keep our fingers crossed. And maybe one of us can bring home the bacon in one of these contests this year.
That would be nice.
Thanks for tuning in each and every week. Let's go ahead and put the week in the win column, as my friend Scott Spreitzer likes to say. And his catchphrase is better than my catchphrase. Don't hedge, get the edge. Thanks for listening.
I like it.